Now, we continue inshallah with وإذا جاء نصر الله والفتح, Surah An-Nasr. Surah An-Nasr is also another short surah in which Allah Azza says بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. This is a surah Madaniyah that some says was revealed. Madaniyah meaning after the migration of the Prophet ﷺ. Some says that it was revealed in the in Hajjat al-Wada', and after it came اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. And this is the word translation of the surah. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح. If the conquering of Allah have arrived, and and the victory and the conquering of Allah have arrived, وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ, and you see people coming into the deen of Allah in folds, in large numbers, أفواجا, in large numbers, فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ. Praise your Lord and seek forgiveness. إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا, as Allah is forgiving. So what does this mean? It means إِذَا جَاءَ, the conquering, the victory and the conquering of Allah. Now here, ناقة الله وسقياها, شهر الله الحرام, بيت الله الحرام. When the name of Allah is added into something, it gives it weight, gives it value. Here, Allah is saying, if the victory of Allah and the conquering happened, and referred here to the conquering of Mecca, because the conquering of Mecca was literally the end of the kufr, state of kufr in the Arabian Peninsula. Many of the tribes in Mecca were waiting. They said, okay, well, let's wait. If Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam's deen reveals that he is the truth, because they were, they saw Quraysh, the most powerful, the most reputable, the most known tribe in Mecca, because they were the custodian of the Haram. So they're like the capital of the Arabian Peninsula. They're well known. So they took the responsibility of fighting the deen of Allah Azza. So others were saying, okay, well, we'll wait. If Quraysh wins, then that's it. We don't have to take to do anything. And if Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam's deen reveals, then it is a truthful deen. So then we will be accepting Islam. And that's exactly what happened. After the conquering of Mecca, the afwaj, the groups of different tribes were flooding Medina, literally, and coming to submit to the deen of Allah Azza, accepting Islam between the hands of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah Azza is saying to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا. And you see people coming into the deen of Allah Azza in large numbers. Then what should you do, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ. Then praise your Lord and seek forgiveness for you and for your ummah. فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا, as Allah Azza most forgiving. And here is an important thing. When you see something pleases you about the deen of Allah Azza, many people say, oh, takbir. Well, maybe it's better to say subhanakallah wa bihamdik astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk, because praise be to you, O my Lord, and I seek your forgiveness. And this ayah, as the Prophet ﷺ indicated to Aisha, came to inform the Prophet ﷺ that your mission is completed, which means your role in life is about to finish. And there is a beautiful catch into this. Ibn Abbas, who is the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, the son of Al-Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, used to be always in the gatherings of Umar al-Khattab and the Badriyin. Those who attended Badr were to be the best of the Sahaba, and they were always consulted in matters. And Umar radiallahu anhu used to always enjoy consulting them and discussing with them on matters and issues. So they felt offended. We are old people, and this young man comes and attend with our gatherings. They kind of indicated to Umar that come on, he's a child, young child, by the age of our children, or our grandchildren even. So in one setting, he invited Ibn Abbas and said to him, and he said to the gathering, he said, what would you say about the surat An-Nasr, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح? And then eventually people said that it is about the victory of Allah Azza wa Jal and the deen of Allah, and they give different opinions. Others did not wanted to share anything because they did not feel that they have anything to share. But then Al-Khattab radiallahu anhu said, what would you say, Ibn Abbas? And then Ibn Abbas felt that Umar radiallahu anhu is giving him the chance to show that this Sahaba, who were most honorable and respected Sahaba, because they are Badriyin and he has a lot of respect to them. But Allah, the Prophet ﷺ made a dua to Ibn Abbas that Allah Azza wa Jal, to give him the hikmah, and that's why he was Habr. He's the most knowledgeable of the Ummah, and he's the Mufassir of the Quran, and he is from the scholars of the Deen. So he said to them, this is a surah that came to inform that the Prophet ﷺ's time is due for departing to Allah Azza wa Jal. I think we can keep it, inshallah. Now we go to the next surah, or the surah before, in which Allah Azza says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. Now I should not be pointing at you, but just for the sake of creating a dialogue. قل يا أيها الكافرون, say, O you who disbelieve. And here, قل means say, which means that the Prophet ﷺ was not speaking his own mind. He was conveying the message of Allah Azza wa Jal to those who are around. So Allah is saying to him, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say to those who are around you, convey this message. قل يا أيها الكافرون. And look into first of all to the bravery of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And imagine yourself, still in the early stages of the da'wah, and Quraysh, very powerful, nation. No one would even dare to come across Quraysh. Quraysh would, when they travel, they would have minimal security escorting their caravans, because when they know that this is the caravan of Quraysh, they would know that this is a powerful tribe, and no one can mess with them. If they someone attack them, they will come and get them. So imagine the Prophet ﷺ conveying this message with bravery in front of the Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl la'natullahi alayhi and all the gangsters of Mecca, and say to them, say, O you who disbelieve. He called them kafirun. This is insult for them, disbelievers. He called them the disbelievers. But the Prophet ﷺ, had no fear, because he was conveying the message of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal promised to protect him and to give him, the protection to convey this message. And this gives you also an idea of, how much the Prophet ﷺ really have sacrificed. And as a result of, reading this surah in front of the gangsters of Quraysh and Mecca, he was hurt, and the Sahaba were also hurt as a result of repeating and reading this surah in front of the disbelievers. Say, O you disbelievers, O you ya ayyuhal kafirun, la a'budu ma ta'budun. I am not worshipping what you are worshipping, because after people of Quraysh gave up on the Prophet ﷺ, he's not compromising. He's not compromising. They went to his uncle Abu Talib, and they said, Abu Talib, you gotta do something. He's belittling our minds and insulting our gods, and and rejecting the religion of our fathers and grandfathers. You gotta do something. And then Abu Talib went to the Prophet ﷺ and said to him, my nephew, he's like, we need something. These people are coming, and they're so angry and so mad. Why didn't you consider something and that and stop saying what you're saying about their gods. He said to him, the famous word, "Oh, by Allah, my uncle, if they were to put the sun in my right and the moon in my left, I would not give up this deen until my head is removed from my neck." This is how firm he was. And when Abu Talib, heard him saying this, Abu Talib, as I said, he loved the Prophet ﷺ, and he knew that what he's saying is the truth, but also at the same time, subhanallah, he was not strong enough to take actions. And this is sometimes an act of an action of certain individual could save the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Look into the actions and the stand of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in the most difficult times. The Prophet, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, when the people rejected the faith, and many of them said, "Oh, okay, we will be following Islam, but we're not giving zakah." Or we compromise in certain aspects of the pillars of the deen. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was very strong, was very firm, and he said, "I am going to find them, until no matter what the cost would be, even if no one is left in Medina, and the wolves will be attacking the mothers of the believers," meaning to say the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did not compromise, no tolerance, firmness. This is it. Sometimes these certain actions of firmness could make a situation, could make someone, people around you, change their perceptions, because they're waiting, they're looking for someone to take a stand. Let that person be yourself, and do not be from those who would be portraying the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the Prophet, and then later on, after a long, battle with the Prophet back and forth with his uncle, they said, "Okay, let's compromise. Let's compromise, and we will worship, your Lord for 1 year, and you worship our gods for 1 year." This could have been a chance to say, "Okay, well, why not? Let's try it for a year and see how many people are accepting Islam, because this will prevent, the fight, and will lower, the guards, and help more people to accept Islam." Allah Azza wa Jal, wants the Prophet ﷺ to be firm and convey the message of a clear message to those who are around the Prophet ﷺ, and said, "Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun," say, "O you who disbelieve," very clearly, khalas, you are disbelievers, I'm a believer, firmly. And la a'budu ma ta'budun, I'm not going to worship what you are, worshiping. Wa la antum a'biduna ma a'bud, and you are not even going to worship, you are not, worshiping what I am worshiping, because there's that makes no sense that, 1 year we worship one God, and another year we worship another God. We worship Allah Azza wa Jal 1 year, and then we worship statues the following year. وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. Even it's getting to the point that in the future it doesn't seem like you are going to worship what I am worshiping, Allah Azza wa Jal. And وَلَا أَنَا عَابِدٌ مَا عَبَدْتُ, and I will never. This is how firm the Prophet ﷺ, was in his da'wah. And I will never. This is impossible that I will give up my beliefs in Allah Azza wa Jal. وَلَا أَنَا عَابِدٌ مَا عَبَدْتُ. So what's at the end? لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. This is it. Let's draw a line. This is your faith, and this is my faith. قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَى كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ أَلَّا نَعْبُدَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ وَلَا يَتَّخِذَ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ فَإِنْ تَوَلَّوْا فَقُولُوا اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. خلاص. There will be times when you need to draw a line. There will be times when you need to be firm and persistent. خلاص, this is it. Yes, I am willing to compromise. I'm willing to argue and to debate, and to work with you, and to show the kindness and to show the tolerance, and to work with you on civil issues. But when it comes to at the end to the firm, to the core beliefs, this is it. I draw a line. Yesterday we had a media workshop about how to deal with media, and I was asked this question: how do you see the Muslim community in the society? And I said, we as imams build bridges between the community and the society, and we promote tolerance and working together. But at the same time, we are firm with our beliefs. We do the best to serve people around us, and we take the best of what is offered from around us, but at the same time, we do not compromise our own values. Very clear. This is who I am, this is what I believe in, and this is what I can offer as a citizen of this country, contribute as everybody else is contributing to the welfare of the country in which we're living in, because we're all together citizens. We're standing shoulder to shoulders. When I am sick, I go to the hospital. I'm covered by the universal health system. When I need blood or someone else needs blood, I don't question where the blood is coming from. And the same thing when it comes in a crisis situations. We're both together standing to support each other. Many Muslim projects in this society. Alhamdulillah, there are many charitable projects in Canada run by Muslims. Hot meal, meals on the wheels, or they call them hot meals, where Muslims prepare meals and offer them to those who are less fortunate. We do have many, food banks that are serving Muslims and non-Muslims alike. We do have many charitable projects that serves to everyone, humanity, to serving humanity. But when it comes to the belief, to the core of the beliefs, we are Muslims. We believe that La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is none to be worshipped except Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Clear. That's very clear. This is different there's a big difference between compromising and between interacting and being tolerant and dealing with others around you. The Prophet ﷺ in Medina had a state of Islam in which there were kuffar and there were from the people of the book, but they were all together living under the umbrella of Islam, under the state of Islam in the leadership of Prophet ﷺ. So I think with this we will stop, because there is only 15 minutes left for the Salat al-Isha. Should we stop here or should we go to the next surah? I think we should stop here.
Yes.
Inshallah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika.